we continue with Good Morning Kenya, and right now we move on to the papers just to see what the dailies have for us. Very quickly, let me run you through the front page of the Daily Nation, starting with the stories here on the header. Mutua launches his manifesto for presidency, again just confirming his bid towards running for the top job come August 2022. Machakos governor unveils a campaign platform anchored on 13 pillars. That story has been covered here on page 2, and those 13 pillars just briefly are improving quality of life, the youth, manufacturing, universal healthcare, security, integrity and accountability, education, we have infrastructure, social welfare, sports and tourism, ease of doing business, foreign affairs and the environment, among many other aspects from his official launching of his manifesto that happened yesterday. Moving on to the other stories concerning the COVID-19 jab vaccine uptake, and currently we are only at 10%, and Kenya could miss the target to fully vaccinate 40% by the close of the year, in as much as there has been a notable increase on the number of people who have gotten their vaccines since the announcement by the health CS saying that as of the 21st of December, you will not be able to access government services if you are not fully vaccinated. Now, coming to the main read, this is in regards to what happened this past weekend in Mwingi. It has emerged that there were passengers who paid 50 shillings to board this bus. The 50 shillings doomed Mwingi bus. That story has been covered here on page 7. And according to the accounts of one of the survivors, they say that when the time they were leaving, when they were departing for this journey, there were about 40 in the bus and there were about 10 empty seats. But when they got to this particular bridge, so other passengers came on board and they were annexed to a point where there were 15 that were actually standing. And if that is anything to go by, according to this daily, there could be at least 30 people that are yet to be accounted for from this particular incident that happened. That story has been covered in great detail there on page 7. You can be able to get new information as per what the dailies have today. Coming to the other story, a bit of politics. Why Ruto wants Gachagua for DP. Again, that has been covered here on page 4. With the DP this past weekend saying, I have never seen a meeting this big in Nyeri. Some people had said that we will not be allowed to come here, but this MP of yours really knows how to do his job, and now he could potentially be the running mate for the deputy president. And finally, MPs to refund 2.7 billion illegal housing allowance. That story again has been captured here on page 5, and as a result of the 26 months that MPs had received 6.5 million each when it comes to house accommodation and house allowance, which the Parliamentary Service Commission approved without the approval of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission on the 24th of April 2019, which was backdated for them to receive monies from as of the October of 2018 through to 2020, totaling to 6.5 million each, because they were given a monthly allowance of 250,000 Kenya shillings each. And according to SRC Chief Executive Officer Ann Gitao, she said that the only approved housing benefit is a select group of state officers, which only include the president, the deputy president, the chief justice, deputy chief justice, governors, deputy governors, and speakers of the county assembly. So now they have to reimburse these monies in full, which will be deducted from their salaries. That is what the Daily Nation has for us this morning. Doreen.
To the People's Daily, and perhaps you can begin on what happened in Maranda High School this during the GMK news brief, but just to give you a bite on perhaps the reason as to why there was this, the dormitory went up in flames in that particular school, even after schools were given that half-term break just the other week. So going by what the PD has highlighted is that in a warning letter allegedly dropped at the staff room, the students had actually threatened to ban the dorm should they be forced to do an internal mock set for this Monday. So that is one of the reasons, just as it has been highlighted by this particular paper as one of the reasons to why the students chose to ban that dormitory there. To a bit of some politics, again, just the same story in regards to what the DP is doing, traversing the country, popularizing his presidential bid there. And this was in Nyeri, where Kahiga said the DP had solutions to problems facing residents of central Kenya and is the best person fit for next year, or I mean come the elections there. And also to that big announcement where the ODM chief now says that this is going to be a national event and everyone is invited that Friday, where all the questions that you have been having as Kenyans or anyone concerning the Azimio la Umoja and perhaps whether he's going to vie for next year's general elections or not, all that will be answered in the Kasarani Stadium come this Friday, as that is being termed as a national event. And also to a bit of some health matters, whereby the government had said that by Christmas they plan to have met that 10 million vaccine target, but it looks like that is not quite going to be the case. They are much as it stands. They have vaccinated a total of 7.5 million Kenyans, and this is up from 6.8 million as it was at that time in November 26 when they began that mass vaccination. But again, the ministry still maintains that key services, government services, if at all you're not vaccinated, then you might just miss them. And also part of what is being added to that is that you will not be allowed to use public transport if you are not vaccinated. That is how the PD looks like this morning in regards to some of the stories that have been highlighted. Regina.
Front page of the Standard, matters of moment of truth for Raila supporters. That the date is Friday 10th at the Kasarani Stadium there, where he's going to be clearing doubts about his political stand when it comes to the elections 2022. Critics have said that, well, maybe this is going to be a day that we hear who is going to be casting his net for the president with. That is there going to be a coalition pact with President Kenyatta's Jubilee Party? That is subject to time, and Friday the 10th we will know what is the way forward for ODM leader Raila Odinga. On the other hand, there's also a recap of what happened during the Nyeri tour by Deputy President William Ruto. This is after he garnered support from Nyeri governor there, as well as matters of IEBC. Remember the conversation around, opening of the servers, access to the servers and such. It seems that that particular question has come back to haunt Chebukati. And this comes in the way of a petition that has been made that seeks to revise the Supreme Court orders and bar IEBC boss from holding office. That's just a sneak peek of what we have on the front page of the Standard this morning, including that particular story about that bus that sank there, and 25 bodies so far have been recovered. According to this particular Daily Brief this morning, the kicker there reads that they sang, praised and prayed for the water level to subside, and when they saw smaller vehicles making it across, they overloaded the bus to add weight onto it and decided to take a risk. That's just an excerpt from what the survivors have had to say in regard to this matter. As the search continues. So far, 25 bodies have been retrieved from River Enziu there. And so much has been said in regard to that matter. For me, it took me back to that Likoni channel crossing where a mother and the daughter perished as, hopeless Kenyans watched and could not do anything. May the souls of the departed continue resting in peace. In as far as matters of, human interests are concerned, given that that weekend has been filled with so much, including the indefinite closure of Maranda High School as well as Rangala Boys there over insecurity and the arrest of a teacher in regard to these particular issues. We've also had the rescue mission that is currently ongoing in Bondo at the Abimbo gold mines there. Kenyans will still practice artisanal mining, and this is quite risky because we do not have the requisite, safety equipment, so to speak. So much has been happening over the weekend that, does not inspire us, for better. And I'd want to draw attention to a story that may actually inspire you this morning. So a man has walked out of jail after 23 years. After 23 years, to the embrace of his 2 wives. This is a story of Robinson Siko Ogembo, who is now a free man. He walked out of the Bomet GK prison last Friday, and his 2 wives and relatives broke into song and dance to welcome him back home. Yes, 23 years, and not only are your wives with you, but they're singing praises and thanking God that you're back home. So this is a story that has been captured on the Standard this morning. Care to have some inspiration that, brighter days are yet to come. He says that he was sentenced to death in 1998 for 2 counts of robbery with violence among 4,000 death row inmates whose sentences were continued to life imprisonment by President Mwai Kibaki in 2009. And he recalled that between 1996 and 1997, their appetite for money had grown, and they operated in Sotik, Liten, Kericho, and Kisii towns, where they orchestrated a series of robberies and sometimes when armed with crude weapons. As he steps out, he says he has made attempts to appeal against the sentence, but it has hit a snag, and he was taken to the Kamiti Maximum Prison. He says that while at Kamiti, it hit him that he was going to die in prison. But in 2009, a gleam of hope appeared through the presidential pardon by President Kibaki, who commuted death sentences of 4,000 inmates who are awaiting execution. He says, "This gave me another chance, and I was now allowed to move within the prison and got transfers from one penal institution to another." In 2019, he successfully appealed for his sentence, and the High Court reduced it to a 3-year jail term. That's the story of none other than Robinson Siko Ogembo, who is now a free man. Remember, you can get further details on those stories that have been making headlines in the last 24 hours. They're all available on our website. That is www.kbc.co.ke. And continue streaming. Thank you very much, Tom Wema, who's watching from Nairobi, as well as Jackson Kehara. You never fail to watch this particular broadcast. I leave in the able hands of my colleagues, Jane Wamboi, as well as Traffic Marshal A1, Doreen Arange. I'm Regina Manyera. Pleasant viewing ahead.